Alpen Pharmaceuticals in association with Higher Secondary Principals Forum.
Hello students, welcome to the class of economics. Today we are going to start with the 4th unit of economics in your 12th standard. The unit deals with producers' equilibrium, market structures and price determination. Here the first concept that we will study is about the producer. Now all of you must be already aware of the concept of who is a producer. A producer is an individual or a firm who produces goods and services which are made available to the consumer for consumption. Now, when does this producer be in equilibrium? Let us see the condition for equilibrium of a producer. The concept of producer's equilibrium. Producer's equilibrium refers to the situation in which a producer maximizes his profit and minimizes his loss. Now what do you mean by maximize his profit? Any producer would go in for production because his main aim is to make profit from his business. So a producer would be in equilibrium at the point when he maximizes his profit in such a way that he also has to minimize his loss. Every producer tries to maximize his level of production with a given level of factors of production. We know that there are 4 factors of production which a producer uses in order to produce goods or services. Now every producer will try to use these factors of production in such a way that he minimizes his loss and maximizes his profit. Now every producer is a part of what we call as a market. Now each one of us know what is a market. All of us have gone to a market to buy goods and services. Let us go more into detail of what this market is and how a producer becomes a very important part of this market. So let us move on to the concept of market. A market may be defined as an arrangement of establishing effective relationship between buyers and sellers of the commodities. As we see in the definition that it is an arrangement of forming a relationship between the consumer and the producer, or more commonly used terms as buyers and sellers. So what do we need for a market to take place? The important characteristics that any market should have must be, first of all, it has to have a commodity that needs to be bought and sold. The consumer and the producer, or the buyer and the seller, need to exchange a commodity between each other in order for any transaction to take place in a market. At the same time, there also needs to be buyers and sellers of the commodity. If the commodity is present in the market and the buyers and sellers are absent, then how would the transaction take place? How would an effective relationship be built between the buyer and the seller? So it is very important that in a market there needs to be buyers and sellers. Another very important requirement for a market is that there should be an area where the buyers and the sellers need to come in contact. The area may be a local area, maybe a national area, maybe an international area. But the buyers and the sellers require a place or an area where they need to come in contact for the market to take place. Another very important requirement for a market is that there should be a close contact between the buyers and the sellers. That is, the buyers and sellers need to come together to have this effective relationship. Now once we know what a market is, let us see the different market structures or the different types of markets that are present in any economy, which is our main topic, that is the types of market structures. Now overall, market structures are being divided into 3 broad categories, that is perfect competition, monopoly and imperfect competition. These are the three broad categories under which the market structures are being divided. As we can see in the flow chart, imperfect competition is further divided into monopolistic competition and oligopoly. So let us look at each of these market structures in detail. The market structures, as we said, we are going to look at is perfect competition, monopoly, monopolistic competition and oligopoly. The first one, which is one of the most important perfect market structure, is perfect competition market. Now what is this perfect competition market? The situation in which large number of sellers sell homogeneous product at uniform price is known as a perfect competition market. So let us see in detail the features of a perfect competition market. The first one, a large number of buyers and sellers. Perfect competition market is a market structure in which there are a large number of buyers and sellers. Now usually when we go to the market, we have a large number of buyers, that is consumers, and sellers who are selling their product. Now large number of buyers indicates that each buyer is having only a small share of the total demand of the market. That means he is going to buy only a small share out of the total entire market. There are various goods and services which are available in the market. Out of that, every consumer is going to buy only a small proportion of the output. Similarly, the sellers also, they are able to sell only a small proportion of the total product in the market, because as we can see that there are a large number of sellers who are selling their product. So the buyers and the sellers, since they are so many, they are not able to directly influence the price of the product. The price of the product is decided by the market itself. It is decided by the interaction of the demand and the supply forces. It cannot be decided by the buyers individually or the sellers individually. It has to be decided by the market forces of demand and supply. The second feature is a homogeneous product. A very peculiar feature of a perfect competition market is that the product which is sold in a perfect competition market is homogeneous. Now what do you mean by homogeneous product? A homogeneous product is one which is identical, that is the various sellers who are selling their product, each one of them are selling identical product. That is, let us consider a seller A and seller B. The product of seller A and the product of seller B will be exactly identical. The buyer will not be able to differentiate between the product of seller A and the product of seller B. They are identical in terms of shape, in terms of size, in terms of color, in terms of quality. So a buyer or a consumer is not able to differentiate between the products. This is a very important feature of perfect competition. The third feature that we move on to is perfect knowledge of market condition. It is assumed here that under perfect competition market, the buyer as well as the sellers have perfect knowledge of the market conditions. That is, they know exactly what are the prices, what are the commodities that are being sold in the market. So according to this feature, a perfect knowledge of the market conditions is there with the buyer as well as the seller. The fourth feature is free entry and exit of firms. Now this is a market structure in which firms can easily enter or exit from the industry. Now why would they enter or exit in such a type of a market? Firms who feel that there is a potential for profits in such type of a market would enter into this type of market. So there is a free entry, there are no barriers to entry into this type of market. At the same time, if certain firms are continuously incurring losses, substantial losses that they want to close down their business, then they can easily exit from such type of a market. So this allows a free entry and exit of firms from a perfectly competitive market. The next feature of perfect competition market is perfect mobility of factors. Now, we all know that for production we require factors of production. Now, under this type of market there is perfect mobility of the factors of production. That is, the factors of production can move from one firm to the other without any restrictions. If the factors feel that they are getting a lower remuneration than they actually deserve, then they can move from one firm to the other. The wages or the salaries which they receive, if it is felt that they are receiving a lower amount, then they can easily move from one firm to the other without any restriction. The next feature of perfect competition market is the absence of selling and transportation cost. Now, we have already seen in the earlier feature that under perfect competition market there are homogeneous products which are sold. That means the products are exactly identical to one another. So, the sellers need not propagate their product or they need not advertise their product, and that is why there is no requirement for a selling cost. Selling cost is the amount that the producer spends in order to sell his product, in order to popularize his product. So, here since the seller does not require to popularize his product because his product is exactly identical to the one which is sold by another seller, that is why there is no selling cost required here, or what we say is there is an absence of the selling cost. At the same time, there is also no transportation cost because the product is being sold, produced and sold in a particular area. So, that is why there is no transportation cost involved under perfect competition market. So, let us just go through the features of perfect competition market again. I will just repeat the features of perfect competition market. Under a perfect competition market, there are a large number of buyers and sellers. There is a homogeneous product. There is perfect knowledge of the market conditions. There is free entry and exit of firms. There is also perfect mobility of the factors, and there is absence of selling cost and transportation cost. Now, we move on to another very important market structure which is called as a monopoly market. Now, monopoly, the term monopoly is a very commonly used term by many students or many children when they play the monopoly game. Now, what is this monopoly market? The term monopoly is derived from a Greek word mono. Mono means single and polus means seller. So, here the term monopoly refers to a market structure where there is a single seller. The market structure in which a firm has a sole right over production or sale of the product and it has no competition in the market is known as a monopoly market. So, let us go on to the features of a monopoly market. As we have seen in the definition itself, a monopoly market has a single seller and large number of buyers. As any other market, we have a large number of buyers in a monopoly market. But the peculiar feature of a monopoly market is that there is a single seller. There is no other person to compete with this seller. He is the only producer or seller of the product. As a result of which, we have the second feature which is called seller is the price maker. Now, as we have seen, since there is only a single seller in the market and there is no competition or no competitor to compete with him, he is the only one who will decide the price for his product. Usually, the sellers tend to fluctuate the price or change the price because of competition. We find that if there are more than one people selling the product, then people tend to change or sellers tend to change their price because in order to get a larger share of the market. But here the monopolist does not have any competition. So, he is not bothered as to anyone else would be taking his share of the market since he is the only one selling the product. And as a result of that, he becomes a price maker. He decides the price of the product. In this type of market, there is also absence of close substitutes. That means, since the monopolist is the only one selling the product, there are no close substitutes, no other products which are similar to his product in the market. So, that is why the feature absence of close substitutes. We all know what are substitutes. They are products which are similar, or they are products which can be used in place of the other product. So, here since the monopolist is selling a single product, or he is the only one selling that particular product, there are no close substitutes for his product. Another very important feature of the monopoly market is that there are restrictions on the entry of new firms. Unlike a perfect competition market where new firms could easily enter or exit the market, here there are restrictions on the entry of new firms. That is, new firms cannot enter into such type of market. Now, what are the reasons why new firms cannot enter such type of market? One of the reasons could be patents which are obtained by certain producers in order to sell the product. Since there are patents obtained, no other seller can sell a similar product in such type of a market. Similarly, there could also be copyrights which are there. For instance, an author could have a copyright for his book. So, no one can write a similar or the same type of book. Many brands have trademarks, as a result of which people cannot copy their products. So, different sellers cannot enter into this type of market. There is only a single seller. It becomes very difficult because of these legal barriers for other firms to enter into such industry, into such type of a market. So, that is why we have restriction on the entry of new firms into such type of a market. A very important feature of the monopoly market, which is very peculiar only to the monopoly market structure, is price discrimination. Now, what do you mean by discrimination? Discrimination means to be partial or be different towards different people or different areas. Now, here we have what is called as price discrimination. That means there is a difference in the prices. Now, we have seen that under the monopoly market structure, there is only a single seller who is selling a particular product. So, where does the discrimination come in? The discrimination comes in with respect to the price. That means the monopolist charges two different prices in two different areas, or he may charge two different prices to two different sections of people or in different other forms. So, a monopolist charges two different prices for two different places. That is what we call as price discrimination. For example, if we consider the electricity which is supplied to us by the government in Goa, we find that the same electricity, which is a service, is being charged at two different rates. For commercial purpose, it is being charged at a different rate. For residential purpose, it is charged at a different rate. Now, this is an example of price discrimination. Similarly, on social backgrounds, a doctor may charge two different rates for two different types of patients. He may take a higher fee from a patient who is rich and who is financially capable of paying him, and he may charge a lower rate, or he may give his service free of cost to a person who is poor or whom the doctor knows will not be able to pay his fees. This is a type of price discrimination which is done by a monopolist. Now, why a monopolist can do this? A monopolist can undertake price discrimination because he has no other substitutes and he is the price maker in this case. He is the one who decides the price, and that is why price discrimination is possible for a monopolist. So, those are the features of monopoly market. I will just repeat the features of monopoly market. In a monopoly market, there is a single seller and a large number of buyers who are buying his product. The seller is the price maker. There is absence of close substitutes in a monopoly market. There is restriction on the entry of new firms into such type of a market, and a very important and peculiar feature of a monopoly market is price discrimination, which can be undertaken by a monopolist. I will just give an example of a monopoly market or a monopolist. Very important monopolist which is there in India are the Indian Railways. Now, the Indian Railways are maintained or controlled only by the Indian government. There is no other seller of the services of the railways. Now, this is done mainly because it involves a huge investment which no private undertaking would be wanting to done. This type of an example is also called as a social monopoly. We move on to the next type of market structure, which is monopolistic competition. Monopolistic competition is a market situation in which both the monopolistic element and the competitive element are present. In the name itself, you can see the name says monopolistic competition. So, we have the earlier two market structures that we have covered, that is perfect competition and monopoly. The elements of both these are combined into this type of market structure, that is monopolistic competition. So, let us see which elements are taken from both the earlier market structures. So, we move on to the features of monopolistic competition. The first feature is large number of buyers and sellers. Now, this feature is similar to a perfect competition market where we have a large number of buyers and sellers. So, it is a normal market situation where there will be many sellers selling their varied products and there will be many buyers like consumers like us who will be buying these products. Again, here since there are a large number of buyers and sellers, no individual buyer or seller can influence the price in the market. The price in the market is decided by the demand and the supply conditions. Next, we have another very important feature of monopolistic competition is product differentiation, or what we refer to as a heterogeneous product. Now, under monopoly, we had price differentiation. Here we have product differentiation. Now, what is product differentiation? Here the product is different from one another. Unlike perfect competition market, the product will be similar but not exactly identical. That is why we do not call it as a homogeneous product, but we call it as a heterogeneous product. That is, each product will be similar in certain context, but you will be easily able to differentiate the product of one seller from the product of another seller. That is why we call it as product differentiation. The differentiation may be in the form of size, may be in the form of shape, color, the name, the product name, the brand, the style of writing the name, etc. The next feature under monopolistic competition is freedom of entry and exit. Just like under perfect competition, here the firms can easily enter and exit into this type of a market. That is, firms which find that there is considerable amount of profit in such type of an industry can easily enter into such a market, and they can leave the market if they find that they are making substantial losses. So, free entry and exit exists in such type of a market. The next feature is independent price policy. Each firm under a monopolistic competitive market has certain decisions which it can take. That is why we call it as an independent price policy. The firm can take certain decisions, of course they are restricted decisions which they can take with regard to the price policy that they have for the product that they are selling. There would also be an influence of the demand and the supply conditions, but considerable amount of freedom is given to the firm in order to take their price decisions. The next very important feature of monopolistic competition is the selling cost, which we said is absent in the case of perfect competition. Under monopolistic competition, as we said that it is a heterogeneous product, and we said that the products are more or less similar in nature, but we can differentiate them. That means they have things where they compete, the firms compete with one another, but at the same time they have certain monopoly features of theirs, that is they can differentiate their product. Now they also need to bring out these features to the public in order to increase their sales. Now how would they bring out these features? How would they bring in goodwill for their product in front of the buyers? In order to do this, they need to advertise their product. They need to show to the consumer that their product is better than another substitute in some way or the other. In order to do this, the firm has to spend a considerable amount to advertise their product. The advertisements may be in different forms. It may be in the form of, it may be given in the newspaper or that's the print media, or on television or on magazines, in any form of advertisements. But in order to advertise, the firms need to spend a particular amount. This amount is referred to as the selling cost. Now, since a monopolistic competitive firm has to advertise their product, they have to incur this selling cost, and that is why selling cost becomes a very important feature of monopolistic competitive market. The next feature of a monopolistic competitive market is non-price competition. Now, as I said that there is competition between these similar products. The sellers of these products do not want to have a price competition because of the fear of a price war, and that is why they adopt what you call as non-price competition. That is, they adopt other methods which we have just seen, like advertisements. That is, they compete with their rival in the form of advertisements. They use other methods to compete with their rival other than the price, because they feel that if they fight in terms of prices, there could be a price war, and that is what they do not want. So that is why they compete with their rivals in the form of non-price competition. If you see, there would be examples where rival companies come up with similar types of ads, advertisements on television. Now this is basically what you call as a non-price competition. They do not fight in terms of prices, but they fight in terms of other features. Like you will also see major brands advertising their products with major celebrities. Now this is a form of non-price competition, where they are competing with one another by using the most known celebrities. Okay? So this brings us to the end of monopolistic competition market. So we will just repeat the features of monopolistic competition. We have under monopolistic competition a large number of buyers and sellers, product differentiation or a heterogeneous product which is sold in a monopolistic competition market, freedom of entry and exit, independent price policy, a selling cost is involved under monopolistic competition market, and there is also non-price competition which exists in a monopolistic competition market. Let us move on to an example of monopolistic competition market. Here we can see that these are all similar products. This is the soap industry, Indian soap industry, where we find that these are similar products where they are continuously competing in terms of their qualities. We find that different soaps are being advertised by different celebrities only in order to show that their product is a little better than the other product and to get a major share of the consumers demand. Okay, so we find that these are examples which commonly used soaps which we have in the Indian industry: Margo, Medimix, Synthol, Santoor, etc. So this is an example of a monopolistic competitive market. Next we move on to the last market structure, which is oligopoly. Oligopoly is a market structure in which an industry has only a few firms mutually dependent for taking decisions about price and output. Now here we have a few firms, basically they are few large firms which form the oligopoly market. They are few in the sense that you can easily count them and we can know the share of the market that each one of them is taking. So let us see the features of an oligopoly market. In an oligopoly market, there are a few firms, as I said, and usually these are a few large firms, and there are a large number of buyers, that is consumers, who are buying the products of these oligopoly firms. Very important feature of an oligopoly firm is that there is interdependence among the firms. There is interdependence of the firms. Now here the interdependence means that the firms take their decisions based on the decisions which are taken by another firm in the industry. If a particular firm makes certain changes in their prices, then a rival firm would immediately keep a close eye on the firm and immediately take a decision of changing its own plans. This shows the interdependence among the firms. Now this interdependence gives rise to another very important feature of oligopoly, where you have two different types of oligopoly: collusive or cooperative oligopoly, where, as the name suggests itself, the firms in the oligopoly market, they come together or they collude and they take a particular decision with regard to the prices, and all the firms in the industry would follow that price pattern, or whatever has been decided by these firms together, they would follow that same pattern. For instance, if a decision is made with regard to the prices, then all the firms in the industry would follow that pattern. So here the firms come together or they collude or they cooperate. Now this is basically done in order to avoid competition between the sellers, and each seller gets a considerable proportion of the market. Now one instance of collusive oligopoly is when firms come together and they form what is called as a cartel. A cartel is an agreement which is made between the firms making certain decisions with regard to price. The decisions are decided in the agreement. One example of collusive oligopoly is OPEC, or what you call as oil and petroleum exporting countries. Now this is a cartel which is formed by the oil and petroleum exporting countries in order to decide the petroleum prices. Another form of oligopoly is non-collusive or non-cooperative oligopoly, where the firms do not come together, they do not collude, but they take their decisions independently. Although the decisions are taken independently, but still the changes which are done by one firm are continuously being watched by its competitors in an oligopoly market. So as I said earlier, in a non-collusive oligopoly market, the firms will continuously keep a close eye on its competitor. As soon as one firm in the oligopoly market takes a particular decision, the other firm will immediately react to it and take a similar decision. Mainly this is done so that they do not lose a share of the market. Another important feature of oligopoly market, which is similar to monopolistic competitive market, is non-price competition. Here again they do not mostly compete in terms of prices, they compete in terms of in other ways, like as I said earlier also, they compete in terms of advertising strategies. They spend a lot on advertising and they compete in order to show how their product is better than its rival's product. Here again we have seen that there are only a few firms which are there under oligopoly, few large firms. Now, the number of firms remains few because there are barriers to entry of firms. There are various legal barriers which stop entry of firms into such type of a market. Again, as we have referred to advertising here, the amount which is spent by the oligopoly firms on selling their product is the selling cost, which also becomes a feature of the oligopoly market. So, oligopoly market, let us see the features once again. The features of oligopoly market, a few firms mostly which are few large firms and a large number of buyers. There is interdependence of firms. There is collusive oligopoly and non-collusive or non-cooperative oligopoly which is present. Under collusive oligopoly, there is a type of agreement which is made between firms which is referred to as cartels. Then you also have non-price competition and selling cost under an oligopoly market, and there are barriers to entry of firms in an oligopoly market. Let us now look at an example of an oligopoly where we have large firms in an automobile industry, where these firms are competing with another, and they are firms which require a huge amount of investment, and that is why it becomes a constraint or a barrier for any individual or small producers to enter into such type of market, and that is why we find that they are large firms which are few firms in such type of a market. It is not very easy to enter into such type of market. Till here we have completed the 4 market structures, that is perfect competition, monopoly market, monopolistic competition and oligopoly market, and we have also seen the features of all these markets. So, we will look at how the price is decided under the perfect competition in the next session. Thank you.
Prudent Scholars, powered by Lupin Pharmaceuticals.
अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस। अब आपकी सुरक्षा आपके हाथों में। ल्यूपी सेफ हैंड सैनिटाइजर, आपका और चेन्नई सुपर किंग्स का फर्स्ट लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस।